I think it's very important that we maintain a positive mind on situations that aren't so positive. Sometimes God will put these obstacles in our life in order for us to take our next step into something bigger that He has prepared for us.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Good Vibes, Good Life, a podcast where you can talk about anything and everything. Today, I have a couple of special guests here with me. Unfortunately, we are missing one of them, and hopefully they come during the podcast. Today, I am here with...
Hi. I am Sayde. I am one of the cousins out of the main four.
Hey. Hello, I'm Allie. I'm back again.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Today, like I always say, bruh, of course, bruh, you guys already know your guys' company.
When we're together, it's ooh.
Yeah, it's nothing but electric. We're here today with a new segment called Honest Conversation. This conversation is going to have to do a lot with the young women that are watching. I guess in a way, kind of that guidance that I feel like a lot of young women do not have nowadays. Yeah.
Hopefully resonating with some people who are currently going through similar situations or looking for similar guidance, hopefully.
Hopefully
this hits home for somebody.
No, facts. Growing up, I feel like we all had our struggles. What would you tell your younger self?
That things do get better even if they feel like they won't, or even if what you're looking for isn't necessarily happening in the moment. You kind of just have to learn to roll with it because you're here. How do I word that? Like you're like you're here in the moment, and it might not be exactly where you want to be, but remember, you're still young. You still have a long way to go, and you still are like continuously growing.
True. That's a very good perspective, cousin. So, sorry, what was the question again?
What would you tell your younger self?
To tell my younger self, there's a lot of things I wish younger me would know, that it does get better with time, and that's to just keep pushing and doing what you're doing, and just trust in yourself more than depending on other people. Depend on yourself more than you depend on other people, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be you, because anybody could just be temporary. So I feel like trusting yourself and depending on yourself would be one of the main things I would tell myself younger, and it does get better. It does get better, and it does get easier.
Facts.
What would you tell your younger self?
I feel like I'm on the same boat. Definitely say that it does get better. I feel like for me, though, I feel like it'd be more like, what would I show my younger self, honestly?
Yeah.
Like, what would I show, which is, like, a lot of things that personally, like, I'm enseñaron, like, how to actually be, like, a lady, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's one thing, but it's, like, definitely everything does get better, and just continue. Don't care what other people have to say about you. Literally just continue being yourself and continue to give love. And if someone wants to hate on you, bro, fuck them.
Let them.
Fuck them. Like, that's
everybody's
really
gonna have their own opinion. Everybody's gonna have to say what they say, but regardless, you choose your life.
Go search up the let them theory, and then you'll find out, like, if somebody wants to go, let them. If somebody's gonna do whatever they're gonna do, let them. Because it doesn't affect you at the end of the day. And it might, but, like, at the end of the day, it's their decisions.
Yep.
You just gotta let them go.
You're not gonna be stuck in that same position. You're gonna continuously be growing and stuff, and definitely learn to love yourself.
Self-love.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Again, that's, like, one of the most, like, biggest priorities you should have for yourself is self-love. It may be hard, no matter what. Like, it's going to be difficult to learn how to get there, but once you got it, there's nothing really anybody can say to bring that down.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in this generation, I feel like self-love is, like, one of, like, the hardest things for somebody to really do, especially because with self-love in this generation, we look for it in other places. We look for that validation. And you see it, too, a lot with, like, for example, like, our older siblings, too. Like, you see with them that they look for validation in all kinds of things instead of themselves. Yeah. So I feel like that's definitely, that would get you through a lot.
Yourself, you yourself are your own priority. And, like, that goes throughout your whole life, not just your younger self.
If you could go back in time and actually be able to help your younger self, I feel like in telling someone, yes, but what would you show them? Like, what would you show them if you were able to go back in time and actually help them physically?
I guess for me, just growing, like, that's a good one. Like, I'm like kind of stumped. Because growing up, I can't say I had the best childhood. I feel like you guys know this too, with my family. Growing up, everything was very, very rough. Instead of my family, just to like summarize it, my family didn't really support each other as much as we did now. Everybody was kind of in their own island trying, like every man for themselves pretty much was everybody's mentality in my family at the time. So for me being the youngest, it's more just like, if I could show them, I wish I could show them like my life right now, like where we're at. Like, you know, like this whole podcast, like our dreams going to school and everything is not something, I feel like I can kind of speak for all of us when we say it's not something we thought that we would do when we were that age, you know?
Yeah.
Like seeing us now, I feel like our younger selves would probably be like, damn, like that's gonna be our lives. Like actually, like how did we make it there? I feel like that's what I would think if I was younger, because I had no hope for myself when I thought I would just be in a really depressing cycle. I feel like I would have gotten stuck in that cycle. But I'm glad, younger me, if you could hear this in any way, in any universe, good job for breaking the cycle. That's all I can really say.
Amen to that, yo.
Yo, for
Amen.
real. That was
Preach
good.
that, sis. Preach it.
Because I feel like if I hadn't broke the cycle, I would not be here right now.
Yeah, 1,000%. You just gotta, again, just tell your younger self that, not tell your younger self, to my younger self, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how hard things get, no matter what happens, what is going to happen, life is going to happen. And life will not stop for nobody again. So you just gotta keep pushing yourself forward. What really helped me as, like, when I was growing up is learning new different hobbies to take over. It didn't have to be big. It didn't have to be extraordinary. I took up makeup at the age 12, trying to find an escape from my own thoughts. And it helped a lot. So you really just have to tell yourself that, yes, things are booty butt, but everything will get better. And everything happens for a reason, you know? Like, there is not a position where you're going to be stuck in for your whole life, no matter how difficult things get.
Like, I always see you guys, like, from when we were younger, but it's like, I'm proud of you guys.
Oh,
like,
I'm
you guys are
proud
so,
of
like...
you. And you.
Like, you guys have grown a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are women. Like, girl, you about to have a kid.
Nah, for real,
you
bro.
about to have a kid. Let's talk about it.
Even I don't process that to this day.
No, let's talk about it. Oh, the next topic we want to jump into is motherhood.
For real, I'm not fat, I'm just pregnant.
She's like, that's funny.
She's 8 months, guys.
Yes.
Dude, I feel like that's so scary, especially, like, with, like, I'm, like, the first one out of our cousins, like, around our age to have a kid. Took one for the team.
Yeah, she did. She took a big one for the team.
Dude, when we were younger, we were like, so who's gonna be first?
No, for
Let's
real.
be for real. We all thought it was, like, it's not gonna be me or Allie, because Allie already knows how to take care of it. Yo. Like, she got that babysitting experience.
Yeah, bro, I babysitted every child known to
for
mankind.
Yeah, dude, like, to be fair, like, I never, like, again, going back to, like, the family full circle, like, I never expected myself to have kids. Like, I always told myself too, but then when it happened, I was like, shit. I was like, damn. Like, what am I going to do now? But luckily, I have a partner who is very, very much my opposite. So, because for me, growing up, I had a very negative mentality. So I feel like that negative mentality really made my perspective negative on kids. Because especially with the way I was raised. So it's just like, I think my biggest fear of being a mother too is continuing that cycle onto my kid. So I think that was definitely one of the biggest fears. But luckily I have a partner who is supportive, and mainly he's just, I got you. And I feel like that's so important to have, especially in this generation where marriage doesn't necessarily come first in a lot of relationships. So it's just like mainly like we see that with our family too, where it's like kids first, love, and then marriage, if marriage ever comes. But luckily, I was fortunate enough to have a partner who's present. Who's just very present. I'm just grateful for that, because regardless I feel like that's something that's very important right now too. So I feel like because of him too, and because of family, it's like it's made me more secure about it. Because in the beginning, I was like, shoot, like how am I gonna do this? Like, I don't think I can do this. But over time, it's like, okay, like maybe I got this. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be raising my kid my way. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna be, it's like my mom's gonna be raising like my grandparents me. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, as scary as it is, I'm like, you really can do nothing but just take it one step at a time. So that's kind of how I'm doing it.
And you have a whole village to follow you. We're right here with
literally
you,
always supporting us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going back to the topic, that's crazy to me too. It's just like, you're right. Like, I just see us as like those kids who were still growing up. I still see us as like 12 I still see
Tacky Squad.
Nah, bro, going to Alba's crib with like the girls' birthday parties and shit. Yeah. Y'all remember those, bro? I
little Halloween parties,
moments. Bro. Yes,
like
going
I
to Funland.
See this as my little cousin too. Like I just see
yes.
12-year-old. My 12-year-old little cousin, but then I realized too, I was like, damn, in the blink of an eye, like, you're a woman now too. So
we
it's just
all
like,
grew up like this, dude.
Yeah. Just seeing all of us. Like, I still remember when Jennifer and Luis were doing, like, dubstep.
Oh, yeah! Like, let's not talk about that.
The whole little movements and everything.
Not for real. I'm a robot.
I had a little slime thing going on.
No, don't play with it, because you used to turn up at the family parties, too. You used to dance.
Oh, yeah.
I got a video on Facebook.
Y'all used to drive me onto it. I'm just like, okay, let's do it.
But to be fair, to go there by yourself sometimes.
Yeah. No, to be fair, though, like, growing up, like, dancing, like, it was kind of always a thing, because even me and Luisito, our other cousin, when we were little, we have our great grandma too. She would always ask us like, "When are you guys gonna dance?" Because we used to dance as little kids, and we're just like, "Grandma, like that was long ago."
Dang,
yeah, we really grew up.
No, for real. And now like we got the next generation coming. And it's just like,
shoot, and she started right.
I'm gonna wait like 10 years, but
yeah. The next 50
my one and done for real. Like,
yeah,
you'll have cousins.
Nope,
you'll have friends. Don't worry.
No, that ass.
You gonna have a big family on both sides.
Yeah.
So I'm secure. You're secure.
But definitely ending them generational curses, bro. That's something. That's something that we all needed to do. Yeah. We all need to do.
Yeah, I'm very proud. Like, for example, I see your brother too, like with his daughters, and I'm just like, damn. Like, I feel like hopefully, like the cycle, not necessarily ends with us, because of course we're probably gonna have little slip ups, but definitely be the better generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I feel like I see that a lot too with that, like with like our generation, with our older cousins. Like, I see how much better they are, and I feel like they kind of set an example too. Like, for example, like our older cousin Ashley, I looked up to her a lot, because I'm just like, dang, like that's a tough girl, like that's a tough woman. Yeah. I want to be like her. Yes. So I feel like she kind of set the curve a little bit too for that. So I'm just like, shout out to her cousin Ashley.
Bro, yes, we gotta have her on the pod one day, bro. She's an amazing person, bro. Her perspective, like, it's like, if you want to learn anything from anybody, like, she's the person to go to for anything, for real. Yeah. I feel like she really got some good advice.
Her mentality is just like something else. It's like that's the mentality that I hope to strive for.
But she fought to get there, you know, like, and she, I don't know, she's amazing. She just keeps going no matter what gets thrown at her.
Yeah, for real. She's the example of just like, you never know what somebody's really going through, but like behind, and that's what makes a strong person.
Yeah,
literally.
Like, you would never think, like, looking or talking with her, like, this girl has ever struggled. But you'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah. Literally,
for a lot of people.
For
us, too.
I like, for y'all, too, you know?
For
definitely,
all of us. What do you mean?
Acknowledge. And it's, I think I texted you guys, this is, you have to acknowledge what you've gone through and reflect on the things that you have gone through, and acknowledge of everything you came out of, really.
Yeah.
Because look at y'all, bro. Damn, like, that's so
look
crazy.
At us. Stop saying, yo, look at us.
I mean, yeah, but, like, you guys are the guests here, you know?
It's but, like, still, like, but you have made it out so far. You have made it out so far. And I'm so proud of us for getting through the point to where we are right now. Yes. Because little me would have never thought to make it past a certain age, you know? Like, we fought, and we will continue fighting, and I want you guys to know, I want you guys to keep fighting too, because it doesn't end just there. Yep. Take it from us.
Because I feel like a lot from our...
sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Because I feel like a lot from our generation too, a lot that I've heard our cousins say, and even friends around our age, like even people probably out there too can resonate with this a lot, like, at some point, like, we all, I feel like a lot of our generation too has very dark humor, and we've all said at least once in our lives, I don't see myself living past a certain age of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
For me, like, I used to say past 18. I'm 19, about to be 20. Here I am. So it's just like you never really see past a certain point. But let me tell you, it's possible, dude.
Oh, it's
There's
so
much possible.
Yes.
It's so possible.
Let's talk about it though, because God has so many plans for all of us.
God is so good, and God will not let you stay in a season for too long without giving you something better at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like,
God works in crazy ways, dude. Like, it's everything that you're going through, it's temporary. Good or bad. It's all temporary, and it can keep getting better. Something might knock you down. But at the end of the day, no matter if you're feeling bad or if you're in a situation where you feel like this is never going to end, or it's never going to end, it will. Just keep pushing. Whether the situation gets worse or better, you will not be stuck in that. And I've been there. So it's just like, as much, I feel like people too can also get stuck just saying like, oh, like, regardless. I say this a lot too, and I try not to, of just, I feel like there's one thing after the other, and it's never ending. But we never really take a break to really look at the good things that have happened either. We just focus so much on the negative. And I feel like that's where God comes in too. So it's like when you're aiming for a goal and all of a sudden you're taking on a curve point, you're taking off that path, it's just like, then you realize, you kind of look back and it's like, dang, like, if this never happened, then this wouldn't have happened.
yeah.
Like, if this wasn't, like, for example, like, a breakup, just, like, to pursue something else, like, you could have missed that opportunity if you guys didn't break up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just crazy how, what is that called, like, the butterfly effect?
The butterfly
Butterfly?
There's
effect?
a certain
I don't know.
criteria to meet the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that, but I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
something like that. It's just crazy how everything works out in the end, though.
Yeah.
And then when you look back on it, like, sometimes you really do have to just stop and just look back on everything and be like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when I thought I wasn't going to get out of that, or, like, I thought that was never going to end, and, like, where I'm at now.
Right.
Sometimes we just need to take a break and just look at what we have achieved instead of what we haven't done.
Everything bad is always going to be a lesson. You're going to learn from everything bad that you're put into, because he's teaching you something in that moment. He's not looking for you to be like, okay, it's so bad, I'm going to give up. He's teaching you to, okay, it's bad, but you know what? I've already gone through so much. I've already pushed forward with so much. Why would I end here? You keep going, you keep pushing, and he will show you that he has greater plans for you, no matter how bad you feel that things may get. You know?
Amen to that. Amen to both of y'all. Yeah, that's who, on my perspective on that, actually, like, I feel like how I look at life is chapters, where it's like, you have to go through a chapter in order for it to end, but then you start a new chapter, which to me it's like a new beginning. You know what I mean? I feel like when you look at life like that, you tend to kind of have a better understanding. You know, like, I know some people look at life as like a game. How some people look at life as like a book. Don't give up. Like, it's really, don't give up, because your book is still continuing. Like, your chapter is probably just starting, or maybe even just ending. But it's like, just don't give up, continue going. How they say is, they thought they wouldn't make it past a certain age. Yes, but look at them now. Their book continues. Right? Their book continues. So it's like, definitely never give up, and always continue trying to find the little things in life that make life worth living, really. You know?
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah.
Adding on to that, though,
Yes.
like, you have so many empty pages on your book that still have yet to be filled, you know? So don't think that you can just end your book there, because your book, you still have so much to fill.
Bro, yes. And how she was saying earlier is definitely, you make your own story, really. It's you make your own decisions in this life. And honestly, I feel like that's the coolest part about also being human, is you being able to make these choices for yourself, but actually to acknowledging the fact that these choices will impact the people around you, whether they're good or bad choices. Right. You know? So it's like,
you learn from everything that you go through. You learn from quite literally everybody who will be put into your life, no matter the circumstances.
Whether it's good or bad, like, whether it's breakups, family, partners, everybody's put into your life to teach you something. And that's definitely something like that I've learned along the ways too. Like I used to take every like thing negative, but then I realized too, if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't have the mentality or may have made the decision or made the good decisions that I have made today.
Oh, not everybody that you get with is who you're gonna end up with. Please,
let's talk about
that.
it.
Oh
let's
my
talk
God,
about it because we gotta talk
that.
about relationships and relationship advice because I feel like nowadays people are delusional. I'm people. I was delusional. It's okay. But
side eye.
Right. I'm like, so who wants to start off on relationship?
I can go first because I'm the one with the kid.
The one with the kid, this dude.
Well, shoot. I do agree with, like, the first love theory and all of that. I already had my first love, too, and that was... back to what my cousin said, too. Not every person that you're going to be with is who you're going to end up with. And that was exactly my first love. I was young. I was only 16. I was with the guy for like 3 months, and I thought like that was it. You know, like my first love. Like I was never gonna fall for anybody again. Fast forward, I met somebody else. I was with him for 2 years, and everybody had high hopes for us too. Like we all thought that we were all gonna get married. This, that. Obviously, stuff didn't work out, and at the end of the day, it was. My mom had a good perspective on this too. At the end of the day, we did love each other and everything. But the relationship was not great. Because one thing people nowadays that I see a lot of our generation too is security. Yeah. And let me tell you, if people think like, oh, you're insecure, like it's such a bad thing. No, like it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Like you can admit, oh yeah, I'm insecure. That's something you can work on. It's not a flaw. Yeah. And admitting it is probably one of the strongest things too because it's something you can work on. Like, than just being like, I'm not insecure and just having the relationship be torn down because of that, because that's exactly what happened with mine. I'm out of breath.
Like, take your time, because take your time.
But yeah, I just feel like insecurity was definitely what tore down that, like, 2-year relationship I had. And in a way, as negative and as toxic as it was, I'm grateful to be out of it, but I'm also grateful for the good experiences that I had. Because like my mom said, sí puede ser algo bonito. Like, it doesn't have to be all negative. So luckily I've been able to take those good experiences and those bad experiences and make them into learning experiences. And eventually, fast forward, I met my baby's father, my boyfriend right now. And he has taught me a lot too. He has been very patient with me, like knowing everything that I've been through. And he's been through very similar stuff as well. Like what I just went through, like he had that exact similar relationship. And instead of us taking it out on each other, we support each other and help build each other up instead of, you know, tearing each other down or feeling insecure about that. So I feel that's something I'm very, very grateful for. And if it wasn't for all of those relationships that I previously had, I feel like I wouldn't be as mature about it as I am now.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Going back to that, going back to what you said, you may be with somebody and you think that they're the love of your life, you think that it's going to be them, but you really have to look at their morals as well. Because if their morals aren't set straight, what does that tell you for your future? What does that tell you for you guys? Because if he can go ahead and shut down on you for one argument, what does that tell you for you guys? It's just going to be that. It's just going to continue being that. You want somebody who will fight for you, who will love you, who will care for you. And I'm not just talking about physically, because you can care about somebody physically in regards of who they are, but the one person who is going to stay is the one person who wants to learn your brain inside out the same way you have sat and learned it yourself, the same way that you are going to learn their brain. Because that's what you guys are there for. It's not to tear each other down. It's not to, like, oh, she said this, so I'm going to do this. Oh, she's not showing this, so I'm not going to show this. No. You don't move according to each other. You move according on the basis of love. Because you don't need somebody to love you the same way they don't need you to love them. But that's when it gets that's when it makes it a beautiful thing, you know? Like, that's when, yes, that's when you're just like, okay, well, we've been through so much, but you know what? I'm gonna choose to stay and love you anyways. I'm gonna choose to stay and help you through it the same way you're gonna help me through it. Because at the end of the day, if that person cheats on you, if that person is manipulating you, abusing you, like, it can be emotional, physically, let them go, because that's all you're gonna have set in your future.
It's so hard in this generation too, because they even speak about it in the Bible, like a generation who is just so like loveless, who is just filled with lust and like animosity and everything. You see that a lot in this generation too, where it's just like about lickbacks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, if that person, like, if that person does me dirty. Sadly, I have been a victim of that. I did that. But to be fair, I was immature and I've grown from that. But at the end of the day, it's just getting your leg back. It really does nothing but damage you and yourself. You stoop down to their level. So it's just like nowadays, and it's just a cycle of people just hurting people, and it just continues on. And like my cousin said, to choose somebody who is going to fight for you, who is not going to hurt you, because cheating, there are some people who can make it out of it, but you have to continue choosing each other. It's not going to be easy. And that's what people think, like, oh, just moving on from cheating and that's it. No, like, that's something you really have to work on. Like, there's going to be insecurity. There's going to be a lack of trust. People think that's something you just bounce back from, and it's not. That's exactly like how my last relationship had ended, and it was terrible. I had given the guy a second chance after I got cheated on. And it was, out of everything, as a beautiful as a relationship as it was also immature. We were just fresh out of high school. We didn't know what we wanted. He made it very lustful. And I feel like that's a lot of things about women who are younger, girls nowadays, who think that they have to give up their body in order to be loved. You don't.
Not at
you
all.
don't have to submit to a guy in any way. Because regardless, that will not make a man stay. That will not make a boy stay.
A little
somebody
boy.
who
Yes, not
somebody
man,
who loves you for you will not make it all about sex or about lust.
Your body or about the physical. You know, like I said, you have to choose somebody who is intellectual wise and who has their morals straight. And again, it's better to be the one hurting than the one hurting other people. Because you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, dang, this happened. Okay, cool. Now I can heal myself from this for the next person. Whatever you have, whatever has happened in past relationships, you have to heal from that in order to move forward. Because if you don't, you're just going to drag it on to every other relationship that you get into.
You're going to take that hurt and bring it on to the next person and just continue the cycle.
So it's
break that cycle.
Yeah, no, please break that cycle.
Generational curses, y'all got to break them.
Yeah, especially in this generation, it's just people hurting people. And that's like something, that's definitely one of the things I want to teach my son too, is be the bigger person, because at the end of the day, that's going to come back to you. And that's going to go back to the other person. And it's true. It's so true when people, like, when, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you choose well, good will come back. Whatever you put out there will come back to you. And I never used to believe that, and so I started choosing that. And, dude, I'm at where I'm at.
No, for real.
Like, I don't mean to compare, because at the end of the day, it's just like, he made his decisions, they've made their decisions, they're at where they're at because of their decisions.
Yes.
And it's vice versa. It goes both ways.
Yep.
And I just feel like my cousin had very good points with that too, just about like self-love, and just like everything just really goes back to self-love, because you really won't need that validation from a partner.
Yeah.
If you have self-love. And instead, a partner should make you stronger too. They should add onto something from your life, not fill something in your life. And that's something I had to learn, because I used to try to fill the void with these guys just because my family wasn't the most loving. I try to fill that void with these guys because they loved me. I'm just like, oh, okay, like, I have to do whatever I can to keep them, instead of just taking them as lessons as I do now. So it's like just moving on, really. And it's like the hardest part too, especially when you go through a breakup. It's like, my life's over, like, what do I do? It's just that depression. But let me tell you, that is temporary. It will go away. Whether people are like, oh, it's been 2 years and I'm still stuck. get a hobby.
Get
a hobby, dude. Like, find yourself. Don't look like one thing we need to talk about rebounds, dude.
Rebounds. Nah, the hookup culture is fucking
oh my god,
terrible.
Don't get me started on that shit.
Dude, all you're gonna get for yourself if you go to a sneaky link is just that. You're going to freaking get.
It's not a relationship. Yeah. Know the difference. A sneaky link is not the same as a relationship.
And it won't turn into a relationship.
It'll just be toxic. It'll be toxic and you will get hurt. Or somebody will get hurt in that. Because somebody always ends up catching feelings. Let's be honest.
Somebody who loves you will show it. You will never, ever, ever have to question their love and their ability to love you. Somebody who is going to love you will love you proudly and will show you off and will do this, that, and the third. So if you are questioning that, really look at yourself and be like, okay, is this really the person that I want to be with? Somebody that I have to question my worth every single time we text, every single time we talk, every single time we get into an argument? No, because somebody who loves you in regards of anything will show up for you.
Can I add on to that?
Yes, please.
Yes. So, love, I feel like love is, how you said before, love is endless, yes. But I feel like when it comes to your partner valuing you, I feel like that's what kind of hits a little bit different, too. Because it's like, yes, they love you, but they actually take the time to listen to you and acknowledge the little things about you. And not even that, just appreciate you overall.
And
like,
learn with you.
Yes.
One thing I have noticed that's very different with my relationship right now, like, I don't mean to compare, because of course everybody's different, nobody's perfect. But it's something that I very much look as positive. And like with my partner right now, we used to argue a lot about, you know, like the way we would communicate and everything. But now, since we got a kid on the way, we try so hard to make it work. So for him, it's more just like, he tells me when I'm upset about something, whatever, he's like, tell me what I can do to be better. How can I improve it? He's like,
that's
or
shit.
yeah, if, like, if I'm making a mistake, like, please let me know because I might not be aware. Instead of love being conditional, like, oh, or controlling, because I've been in those relationships too and thought I had to put up with that to keep the person. So it's like, love should not, like God teaches us too, love should be unconditional.
When somebody gets defensive on a topic where you bring up because your feelings are hurt, it's because they're not intellectual wise enough to realize that they're the ones who may have made you feel a way. Because their ego gets in the way. That's not something you want. Somebody who has a high ego will let it get in the way every single time in regards of how hard you try communicating with somebody.
Yeah. It's somebody who, if you're with somebody who's very prideful, very egotistical, that is somebody who is always going to choose themselves before they can choose somebody else.
Yes. Oh my God.
And like, cause dude, I was with a narcissist. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, dealing with all of that, I also just took that really as a lesson. As much as like it hurt too, cause you gotta be like, cheating es algo tan feo, bro.
Bro, infidelity is so nasty because somebody who loves you will not do that to you. Somebody who loves you and will choose you through it all. And that person who cheats on you, that person, yes, you can work through it. Yes, it's very much something that you can salvage with time and with the efforts that are needed. If you grew up in a house where you didn't have that like love, and you find it in somebody else, anything so little can feel like love. But it's not. It's just a form of caring in a way. But like,
it will not fill that void.
It won't not fill that void. Thank you. You filled my void.
Going back to that, it's true, cousin, because again, like, spinning back to like the way my family was growing up with like a person who didn't have a stable family, like, looking for love and other people will not fill that void, that self-love that you need to put in for yourself. Because let me tell you, that is something so beautiful. Because then you just wake up every day to, of course you're going to have your bad days, but you're just going to wake up feeling so much more better about life, ready to just take on the day. And I feel like that's something, and like, don't get me wrong, not everybody needs a partner, but the right partner will add to that.
Oh my God.
That's not something
so
that should be filled.
Yeah.
Like, for that void.
For that void. No, for real. Girl, because I'm like, I'm single. Been for the last 22 years.
Hey,
no,
period. Because you know why? You love yourself hard enough.
Listen, okay, look, and I'm going to give y'all my perspective on this, but what's it called? So I grew up in a household where the relationship, bro, there's always disrespect, miscommunication, like, you know what I mean?
Yelling, screaming, all of that.
Bro, yeah. So it's like, I feel like, too, finding a partner that respects you, like, even just as simple as holding the door for you, bro, like, if a guy can't simply just fucking do that, like, y'all gotta throw him in the trash or some shit. No, let me know.
Because a guy will have his morals straight for the person.
Yeah. A man.
Yes. Bro, his character, his morals, his values, like, I feel like that's what a lot of women should be looking for instead of getting that male validation, which, like they said, it's not gonna fill nothing. You're gonna end up still feeling empty at the end of the day, right? But it's like, from my perspective, it's like learning from their relationship. There was a time where, I guess you would say, I would crave, that male validation and stuff. And I'm not going to lie, I would talk to guys that were fucking disrespectful as shit, So it's like, kind of, too, viewing from everyone else in the household, their relationships and stuff. It's like, you kind of learn that you are in no rush to finding a partner. You should not be in a rush to losing your virginity. You should not be in a rush to getting married. Like, none of that. Like, I could sit up here and be like, yeah, like, I've never been in a relationship. And it's not because I can't get a guy or none of that. But it's more so of understanding that as a woman, we are very valuable. Bro, she's literally giving a birth to another human being.
She just she's baking this child as
literally, she's cooking up in there, But it's like,
I'm making a man.
No, literally. But it's like, I feel like, too, I want a lot of young girls, young women to understand that your body is very valuable. You as a person are very valuable. Do not settle, how to say, do not settle for less, right?
Yes, do not settle for less. Please.
Literally, do not settle for less. Bro, because it's like...
Don't do it, especially for, I know, girls out there, like, girls and guys who just get lonely. Just to fill that void too. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Love yourself first. Because then that void will be filled, but now with somebody else's love, with your own love. And what's great about that is nobody can take that from you. Because it's yours. It's not given by another person.
And not to mention, your judgment is not as good to when you're feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Like, emotional judgment is not the best, and it's something that can definitely take a toll on you going into the future.
And how they say, bro, lust is not love.
It's not.
Lust is not love. All them sneaky links, bro, like,
let them go.
Can we talk about the difference between love and attachment?
Oh, yes. Fuck yeah.
Sorry. Dude.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry, just kidding. Go ahead.
Cause like, I don't even know how to start this. Like, love and attachment, dude, is something so crazy and so hard in this generation.
So different. There's a big difference in between attachment and love.
Attachment feels so similar to love, like companionship, but it's not. Like, love is somebody who is there, willing to grow with you, fight for you, and... What was the other word?
Attachment.
She
said that she forgot. My brain. Not for real.
Yeah, but then attachment is just like, you just can't let go of that person, whether it's them treating you like crap or them saying that they're going to change or whatever, and you keep giving it a chance and trying. No, that is not love. That is attachment because you are afraid of being alone. And it's okay to really admit that to yourself, because that's honestly the first step to getting to a better point in your life. But I feel like that's just like the hardest thing that our generation has, is knowing the difference between love and attachment. Because just like attachment can be such a negative thing, like, and love shouldn't be a negative thing.
You will know whether it's love or attachment because attachment takes a toll on you. Love adds on to you. Love is going to add onto the person who you're going to become.
Attachment is draining.
It's so draining because you want to really sit there and be like, okay, well, he said he's gonna change, so I'm just gonna give it one more shot. But if a person is really going to change, you will see that. You will not have to ask multiple times for that person to change again and again and again.
Being on your phone constantly on FaceTime 24/7, you not having your hobbies, you not actually being your own person, that's not love. Like, real shit, that's not love, and it's not gonna end up working, because especially if you guys are constantly together, like, you guys have no room for growth. Yeah, no room for growth, no room to breathe. Like, you're not able to actually get to know yourself because you're constantly around them. And like we've said before, like, when you're constantly around a certain person, bro, you become that person. You pick up those habits, you know?
Dude, as somebody who was in a relationship who wasn't necessarily love but attachment, it is something that is just so draining, and especially if you're stuck with it for so long, you lose your identity. Because instead of, you just merge with that person, like, that person becomes your identity. Everything revolves around them, your routine. And then when that person's gone, it's like, shoot, like, what do I do now? Like, and that's not how it should be. That's attachment. And attachment can just be such a negative thing.
That's Mia.
Yeah.
That's Mia.
Cousins here. Number 4.
Alright, ready for these? Like, cut it. Alright, guys, so we took a little break and we have another guest here.
Hi, my name is Mia. You know, I'm their family, I guess.
Yep. Cousin number 4.
Cousin.
Their cousin, their niece.
Oh yeah. Technically, I'm all y'all's tia.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know,
okay, you're my cousin though.
Yeah.
We're cousins.
We're the same age. We're cousins.
Yeah, we're cousins. We're cousins, guys.
But, you know, thank you, tia, for having us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. De nada, mija. Con mucho gusto.
¿Quieres agüita?
No, that's all they
¿Cómo estás, mija? ¿Estás bien?
Yeah, for real. Like, están a gustos. No quieren un snack o algo.
Una cafecito.
Algo de. No, that's how they be.
Yeah.
My mama found your page the other day. She's like, ¿Este es el Jenny?
Oh, bro, our family finds your page, bro. They find your YouTube and they're like, did you guys see what good you did? And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't see nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
What she posted the other day.
Yeah.
I remember your mom was screaming about it. I was like, it's just like me lip singing, bro. Why is it so?
I blocked everybody. Your mom followed me one time, long time ago, and then she commented on my TikTok, and I was like, she was like, ¿Qué pasó, mija? ¿Estás bien? I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, sorry, tia. I was like, I'm okay. And then I deleted the video. I don't remember, but she was like, ¿Estás bien, mija? I was like, yeah.
Big is what society says about women.
Ooh. The crickets.
The silence is crazy.
A lot of people are gonna have a say on what and how you should act and what you should wear, because we live in a society where if we dress too provocatively and God forbid something happens to us, they pin it on us because of what we wear. They pin it on us because of how we decided to act on a situation. But that's not always the case. It's never actually the case, because the way a woman dresses should never ever have an impact on anybody, because it's our bodies. It's how we feel comfortable. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter how we are perceived by other people, especially men.
Yeah, but that's to say there is a certain point and to a certain age, you know, because I see a lot of little girls that they wear whatever they want, and it's like, yeah, you know, do you, and like, if you feel pretty, you should be able to dress cute. But there's a certain point where cute is too much and you're not dressing your age anymore, and that gives off the wrong idea, because you're still in school. So like, would you wear that to school? And most of the time they do. And then it's kind of like, damn, you can't say nothing. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess. Like
where's your mom's?
Yeah, but no, there's a difference. There's a difference between dressing cute and then dressing very provocative. And I don't think that's something that a child should be doing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to women, you know, they're older, they can wear what they want. Obviously, there's a time and a place. Like, you're not going to go and have your ass out and your boobs out when you're at a fucking family birthday party, you know?
Or at Walmart, bro.
Yeah, Walmart.
Oh, God.
And again, everybody has their opinions. You know, some people will, you know, fight and say what Ali says, you know, like, it doesn't matter what I wear. A man should never touch me. And that's also true. because you could be out here walking in regular clothes, out here walking your dog in the daylight, and somebody can still come and do something to you. They can say something to you.
Catcall you.
Yeah, catcall you. And
So
the thing that sucks is that when they leave, you can't really do anything about it. An officer has to actually see something happening in order to do something.
It's the way
Most
you
of the
also
time.
perceive yourself, like the way you give yourself off. Like that's something, I think that's such a sad thing too, seeing like all these young girls dressing so much older. It's just like, where's like the innocence? Because when I was like 12, 13, I was still wearing like
My
The
Hello
Bobby
Kitty
Jackson.
shirt.
And let me tell you, not all of them are like that. It's really just about who you surround yourself with and who gives you those examples. Because trust me, I have my niece who's 13 and she does not wear any of the shit that other 13-year-olds are wearing. She's doing soccer, she's doing volleyball, she's doing school. She's not even worried about boys right now. Well, maybe she is, you know, a little bit. You know, they all are.
We all
But
got
she's
our
not
crushes.
boy crazy to the point where it's like, oh, I'm not going to pay attention in school, or I'm going to go and skip school to go be with him. But she's a good example. I know. Shout out to Bella. You know, she's a good example. If you're watching this, I'm very proud of you. And I can tell everybody. I tell everybody, like, I'm proud of her. Like,
breaking those standards.
I know.
No,
She's a
for
perfect
real.
example of how teenagers used to be and how they should be. Like, playing outside, like, being with friends, not doing drugs, you know.
Race is such a like sensitive topic right now, especially everything that's going on.
Yes.
So like just like the N-word, like just any slur right now is just taken so
Any slur.
offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's you're
Because
the
they
race
are
or not.
offensive.
Yeah.
They are
Everybody's on
offensive.
edge.
And again, I feel like a
Literally.
kid should not be saying that shit. Because,
Yeah.
again, you don't know what you're saying.
Yup.
You don't know what you're saying. I know we all used to say that shit, and we didn't know what the
Yeah.
fuck we were saying.
Bro, no, dead ass. And I think that's crazy, but you learn from it.
Yeah.
You do.
learn
And
from
after
it.
you
You
stop
learn
saying it, it's like, well, why did I really say it in the first place?
Like, was it really a necessity in my vocabulary?
It was
no.
never. It was never.
Never.
I feel like
Bro, I'm sorry for
You're
interrupting
good.
you
No,
guys.
you're
I
good.
feel like, too, one thing is how a person speaks.
Yes.
How a person speaks, bro. How you speak really determines, like, well, not necessarily, like, in the way, like, let's say you have an accent, like, none of that, but, like, what you say.
The way you present
The
yourself.
way you present yourself when you're speaking.
Yeah,
like,
your
bro,
vocabulary and the way that you talk. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk to, like...
Can we talk about like code switching? Like you know
yeah.
I'm a
people
victim.
yeah.
I'm a
people
victim of
get
code switching.
ridiculed. People get ridiculed for that, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, there's also a time and place. Like you're gonna be a certain type of way at work.
Yeah,
You
you're
know
not
your
gonna
customer
talk to your
service
boss
voice.
the same way
Yeah.
that I would talk to you guys. You would never do
But
that.
the same way, I'm not gonna be using my customer service voice when I'm with friends or with family because they're just gonna be like, "You're boring."
Oh,
How was your day? The time and place.
Time and-
the
it's always
like,
time and place.
I wanna hang out with Sayde, not feel like I'm ordering something.
Yeah,
No facts.
Like, I'm sorry, did you need help with anything?
literally.
Yeah, especially like with these kids nowadays, like who like try so hard to act like they're in the hood too. It's like, dude, like it's okay to just like understandable. We're also in a generation too where if you're not tough, people are gonna see you as a wuss.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be about. It should just be the way you come off. Like
Yeah.
as long as you're a good person, you're doing what you need to do. It really shouldn't matter the way you talk.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
like
very true.
like with people who have accents too. You see like a lot of people get frustrated or they don't have patience. Like at least they're trying to, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's all about your morals, really, and what you stand for and what you want to really give off for
Yeah.
how you're looked at.
Like, I mean, personally, from my perspective, like, you guys know, I grew up in a nice neighborhood, but I grew up around a lot of people that,
Yeah.
you know, speak very
Vulgar.
vulgar, you know?
Yeah,
So it's like,
vulgar language.
yeah.
Yeah, they
So-
didn't really care what they said.
yeah, so it's like, I grew up speaking like that as well, but now it's like, it's different now because I'm actually able to acknowledge it. And I feel like the
you
way
guys
that I
hold this
speak,
shit
I've
with one
changed a
hand?
lot.
Yeah, you
know?
have.
Yeah,
You
so
have.
I'm
I
like,
noticed
shit.
that. I feel like we all have.
Yeah.
We all have our.
Yes.
We all have
We
increased
used to be those
vocabulary.
kids,
We've
not gonna
matured.
lie.
Yeah, well, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
But then you hear somebody like our age still talking the way they used to, and you're just like, oh.
I feel like one thing going back to like the society topic, can we also talk about how, or at least in our community, I'm not sure if this really happens in like how many others, but like the machista in our family when it comes to sons.
Yes.
I feel like that's a topic that isn't really talked about. I mean,
about,
you'll hear a lot about society because of course everybody has these issues, but when it comes to Hispanic families, especially mothers and their sons, which I feel like is also a big part of the society issue.
Yes.
Because you'll tell your daughters, cover up, vístete bien. Like, we have people, like, even in the comfort of your own home, putting something on when there's men around. Even if it's family. And it's just like, why do I have to cover up in the comfort of my own home?
Because
like, why can't you just tell them to not sexualize?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to their own sons, because at the end of the day, if they can't control themselves around family or with younger kids or younger girls, how do you think they're going to be out there functioning in public in society?
Yeah.
And I feel that's why nowadays you just see so many mommy's boys. Like, nowadays, that's all you hear about on the news nowadays is rape cases, this, that, assault.
Bro, there was a whole freaking TikTok. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a whole TikTok on this one boy talking about how to essay a woman. Like, he went through it step by step. And it's just like, wild, that's what our community has gone to, really. Like, you're that disgusting to be able to film that and look over that and be like, yeah, like, I'm gonna post this and this is how I'm gonna think. That's disgusting.
That's crazy.
There was a game that was recently announced not too long ago, and in that game it allows you, or at least like it was mainly aimed for boys, it allows you to rape a woman inside the game. It's like a whole simulator. And it was on Steam. It was like on PC, available on Steam that you can buy.
I remember that shit went viral because
and they had to get taken down because it teaches you how to rape a woman.
because there's kids playing that. Well, even if they weren't a kid and they're a grown ass man, like, why do you feel the need to play that? Other than for what it is.
Why do you feel the need to add that in there in the first place? Like, just
it's like normalizing it, which
definitely is normalizing it, and especially with dudes making TikToks and everything. And it's sad because you look at the comments and you hope to see like the opposite, retaliation, but it's people that are agreeing with this dude.
Shit, yes.
And it's like, you never know how people are behind the account, and there's motherfuckers that end up killing somebody, they end up hurting somebody,
and eventually it might give somebody the confidence to eventually do it one day.
Definitely. All those people in the comments are people that agree with you, and they're just scared to post the same thing.
Yep.
Bro, and
that's so disgusting. I'm sorry.
Bro, no, literally. But it brings me to how it's like sexual assault too. Not only is are people trying to normalize it now in video games and stuff like that, but overall in families.
Yeah.
Bro, how family members think it's okay to go and physically harm somebody in that way.
Yeah,
where
it's like, we're just going to sweep it under the rug.
Yes.
And it's because it has been done this whole time.
Yep.
A lot of Hispanic families, and I feel like that's the only part that we can speak on because we're all Hispanic. But they definitely like push it to the side.
Is it all Hispanic or is it just all families in general? Because not a lot of people have their morals straight.
A lot of people don't, and I feel like we can't lump them all together. That is true. We can't.
At least for ours, it's something like la machista when it comes to the men.
Yeah,
it's like the sons can do no wrong. We have to be submissive to the men.
But the women have to be held to a certain standard. You gotta learn how to cook. You gotta learn how to clean. And if you're not, then you're not deemed worthy.
Yeah.
Yes. And if the man's lazy, well, that's just them being a man. If they want to have multiple
But let me tell
women,
you, cleaning and cooking is a basic human necessity that everybody needs to learn, because
including men.
Because because if as a man, if your wife passes later on, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when your wife passes and you don't know how to clean yourself? You don't know how to cook for yourself. You're gonna end up just rotting in your own fucking filth, and nobody should live like that.
I hate like what my cousin said too. I hate that it's become such a gender thing. Like, the woman has to cook and clean, but if a man's single and living on his own, how is he gonna do anything for himself?
The mom does it.
It's all
the mom does it. The mom comes and
gets
Mijo, have you ate today? Do you need anything? I can do your laundry for you. I can clean your room for you. But it's like, how are they supposed to learn how to be independent? Aren't men supposed to be the ones that are independent, that are strong? But yet they're the ones that fall weak first. Women are always persevering and going through everything. We go through birth. We go through assault every day. We go through everything. And yet we're supposed to still slap a smile on our face. But when it comes to a man and their ego gets offended, then that's when you gotta step back and be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, like you're just a man. No,
Yeah, and that's
not how that works.
It's not how it's gonna work, and especially now that women are evolving their minds, that we're not gonna let anything like that happen, especially in our family. If I know that somebody in my family is being hurt, I don't care who the fuck it is, even if you're not my family and you're some random girl or random woman on the street, and I see you being attacked verbally or physically, I am gonna say something, whether that person is my family, that person is my dad, that person is my brother. I am not going to care, because at the end of the day, you are a human, you have feelings, and nobody should ever feel unsafe, especially in public or in their own home.
You know how much that pisses me off too is like nowadays that's all you really see on TikTok, on Instagram, on everything. It's just people recording instead of intervening.
Yeah,
definitely.
You'll be seeing somebody getting stabbed or being assaulted or being verbally abused, and all they do is just record.
And it's almost as if they can't move while they're recording. Like, they can't go and help while they're recording. They're just watching because, oh, don't worry, I got you. Like, I have it all on video. But not every single person needs to be fucking recording.
Not even that, but people just do that shit for views now, and that makes me so mad. It's like, why aren't you intervening? Like,
because
you're
they don't
there.
care.
That's what they call. That's what they're calling just spectators now. Like, and in my opinion, if you're just a spectator instead of intervening, you're just as bad as the person committing the act.
Yo, 1,000%. Because if you're not gonna go in and help, then why the frick record in the first place?
Yeah,
literally.
Like, yes, record for evidence, but only record if you're gonna go up and do something about it. Don't do that stuff just for views. Social media has been a joke for the longest time now, because we've let society get to where it's at right now.
Unfortunately.
Because it can be such a powerful thing. Like, that's why they wanted to take TikTok down too for the longest, because it got around so quickly, and it's the way we can communicate with each other the fastest. That's why the government wanted to take it down, but again, that violated freedom of speech. But then there's good people out there who do end up intervening, contacting, trying to find that person too. Like, oh my god, like that elote
But
man.
what's sad is like it's never.
Man.
I didn't see that.
The elote man is pretty much like, this video still gets to me. I can't even watch it to this day.
Are you talking about that really old one with a bunch of kids that they were harassing and like making fun of his corn because it looked dirty? Yes, bro. I remember that shit was like in what, 2015, 2016.
Yeah, that was
really?
Yeah, that was like 20.
It was 2022.
Yeah.
What? You're lying. I feel like that was a long ass time ago.
Yeah, it made me feel so terrible. I literally wanted to cry because they were flaming him on how like the corn water was dirty,
and he was still trying to serve them.
I know.
He didn't even understand English that well, and he was still trying to like understand what they were trying to, and he didn't even realize they were really making fun of him, and that broke my heart. But luckily, somebody was actually able to find him.
They found him.
Somebody found him, and they reached out to him, and they gave him money. Like, they gave him money to, I guess, pay off his mortgage or to keep working to his stand or something. But they found him and they gave him money. I'm just like, but regardless, like, the damage was still done too, because it was like, borders, like, that video is still out there.
Pobrecito.
Yeah.
He was just trying to like
that's just
pay out his
trying
mortgage.
to make a living.
Yeah.
And that's what I like a lot of people saying too, like, with everything that's going on with immigrations, like, at least you'll see our people on the side of the roads working instead of begging.
Yes. You guys see
our people begging
you guys
for
see
money.
when we went to go on a picnic, we had gotten fruit, and yet we saw a man selling fruit, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, we have to, and we ended up getting 2 cups. And let me tell you, that fruit was amazing.
Literally, it was so right.
And why? Because
it's so good.
It's made with love, and it's made knowing that they care, that yes, they want to make money, but they enjoy what they're doing. They love what they're doing.
And even if they don't, they know that they need to do that in order to provide for themselves.
They put pride in their work.
Definitely.
And that's something you can definitely, like, whatever it's construction, food, you can see it in their work.
Yeah, and you can never be ashamed of putting food on the table for your family, no matter how you do it.
Facts. And it comes all back to respectable people respect every hustle. So respect every hustle regardless of what it is.
Because you can never know what type of position that person is in, and you don't know where they're gonna end up. So that person that you're hating on for doing construction, you never know, he can become a supervisor of the company.
Like I heard,
it's like
manager.
That's good. And see, there you go. It's like you can always hate on somebody for anything, but really, what is the point of that? There is no point of that, and I feel like that is when it comes back to, you know, not what society says about women, but what women say about women. A a lot of times these days, you know, it's girls saying, oh, I'm not a hater, or oh, I don't do this, or I don't do that. Like, I'm a girl's girl. I love girls,
bro.
But it's so that I feel like anybody who says like I'm a girl's girl is not a girl's girl, because you should never have to go and say I'm a girl's girl. You show it, and I feel like that's when it comes to actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Because you can be nice to me in my face, but whole time you're telling your friend a bunch of stuff about me, telling me,
like she talks a certain way, like
But let me tell you, there's no point in retaliating with somebody like that, because that person is always gonna talk their shit. That person is gonna keep going unless you kill that person. That person is gonna. Never do that. But calm down. Unless that person goes. Unless that person goes out of your life, you know, and stops doing what they're doing, you have no control over what that person does.
That's facts. You guys hear that shit? Clock it.
Especially because our whole family has been a bunch of retaliators. There's been people that talk shit, and then our family decides to retaliate, and they start shit, and then where does that lead up? It doesn't lead anywhere.
It doesn't get you.
It doesn't lead anywhere. If anything, it just starts more problems. It makes things awkward. And why? Because instead of communicating or saying what is wrong, because most of the time when somebody's saying things about you, it's because of their own insecurities and how they feel about themselves. Because trust me, if somebody was happy with themselves, they would not have the need to bring down others. And I know that now because I used to be like that. Especially, I feel like a lot of kids used to be like that. Like, oh yeah, you know, I like you, but you still have that, you know, certain jealousy in your heart. But I feel like even after I started going to church and I started reading about God, like, there really is no point. Yeah. All you can do is just be the bigger person, because you win at that. If you decide to talk back to them and decide to argue with them, you're letting them win, because they want that reaction out of you.
But
they
also know your
limits.
limits. Oh my gosh, do not let everybody talk over you and talk for you.
Definitely not. And I feel like you should never have to stay where you're being disrespected. Like, I'm not gonna go and I'm not gonna, you know, start fighting you, because again, we're older now. Like, it's not like when we were in high school and we can just get into a fight in the hallway and then just get suspended for a day. Like, it just, and even then, like, that also didn't solve anything. You'd fight, and then the next day you just look at each other like, it's on site. But you know, guys, we're in school.
They're not gonna do that.
Like, go to learn. Don't go to fight.
Now when we're older, you see, like, what am I gonna do? Start pulling you by your hair? Like, no, I'm not gonna do anything, because I'm not gonna say anything. If anything, your silence hurts them more than you saying anything.
Literally.
I have people who get upset that I don't answer, but then when I answer, they don't answer. So it's like
it's that petty.
It's like
shit,
you
bro.
just
There's
want. They just want to leave you on red. They just want to feel like, oh yeah, I won that.
Oh,
I won that.
I'm gonna do more. Like, it's
talking about this too reminds me so much of like how my mom is, and still kind of is. Cause it's just like that narcissism, like, for real. It's that emotional, like, me and her have talked about this, so I'm just like, Ma, like, look, cause we're, at least at this point, we're at a better point in our relationship where I can actually just talk to her,
address it. Yeah.
And I know, like, when I can and can't, cause sadly as it is, my mom hasn't changed as much. But I know when there's a good time to talk to her and not. And as Mia was saying, at some point, she still is kind of like this. She reacts. She still is like this, actually. She is too quick to react off of emotion instead of calming down and think. And that's how she is, too. Like, she wants to get a reaction. She wants you to feel the way she's feeling. She wants you to feel the pain or the anger, because she wants you to act up like that. But when she realizes that you're not reacting or giving into what she's saying, it makes her more mad.
Yeah.
Because I've learned when she gets like that, I just gotta walk away, because there's nothing I can do or say to her in that situation that'll make her understand. It's just gonna go one ear out the other. So I'm just like, you know what? I have to learn with my mom, like, there's boundaries. There's a certain point where I can talk to you and when I can't. And I feel that's what's made our relationship better, but sadly I feel like it's more on my part, because now I know, like, how you are and how I have to work around. You're at that
point where it's like you have to parent the parent in order for them to understand you.
Yeah, and I've told my mom, and she's aware too. Like, she does react a lot of them. She can't handle like crazy information well, because like the way she gets and the way she reacts can make the situation way worse. That's why me and my siblings try to refrain from giving her like drama problems or something, because God forbid she kind of makes the situation worse more than she makes it better. And like my cousin was saying too, they do that to provoke a reaction. They want that negative. It's like you were saying, they want to be petty. They want to bring you down with them. Yep. And luckily, because of that, as sad as it is, even though my mom's like that, it's kind of helped me deal with people in life too when I'm at
that
work.
are like that, because you're like, I've already been through this. I live with somebody like this. You are not gonna affect me at all.
You ain't hurt my feelings.
That's good, exactly, because that means you don't let anybody get to you, and that's exactly how it should be. Once you let somebody get to you, you let them win and you let them take over you, and then now all you hear is their voice, and it's like, it shouldn't be like that. That they should not be the tiny little voice in your head. You should be the tiny little voice in your head. Not your parents, not anybody else, not a friend, not an enemy. You. Because at the end of the day, you should only be better than yourself, than your past self. You should never be, you versus you. That's how it should always be. Because once you go and compare yourself to somebody else, you're never going to be happy. What is it that they always say, you know, that one corny ass shit, like, comparison is a thief of joy. You know?
No, but that's
but it's some real shit.
Jealousy is a disease.
I'm not really bad, but I mean, go ahead.
Like all these tiny little corny
jealousy is a disease, baby.
But I mean, it is, because it consumes you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I feel like, again, it comes back to, if you're hating on anybody, if you're saying anything about anybody, even if it's just, you know, like, make fun, like, have a joke, like, haha, you know, this person is this person is that. It's like,
why?
I don't feel that. I've never felt the need for that. I mean, you know, when you're a kid, obviously you talk a lot of shit. But when you grow up, it's like
trauma.
I feel like I would much rather have a person as a friend, or even, you know, as an acquaintance. You know, like, we're cool and all that. But there's just no point in having enemies. And even if somebody doesn't like you, you're beefing with yourself. You have problems. Facts. You have problems.
It's that one-sided beef.
And it's like, do we got problems? No, you got problems.
When I hear somebody who like hates so much, it's just like, damn, like, I low-key feel bad for you, because that just means you're going on with something in your life that you're not happy about.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even like I can get angry back at you. Like, if anything, I just feel bad for you. Like, same thing, like, going back to the relationship things, like, people like seeing my exes doing bad too, or just doing shit out of pettiness. I'm just like, damn, like, I feel bad for you. Like, I don't even want to give you that satisfaction of a reaction that you're trying to get. But more than anything, I feel bad for you, because that means you're going through something where you're not secure in your life, where you're not happy in life. So you're trying to bring people down with you.
Right.
So it's just like, as sad as it is, man, like, I feel bad for those people more than anything. Because you're just unhappy with yourself. Like, back to what Mia was saying about the Bible and stuff and having that hatred in your heart. It's like, it doesn't matter who the person is. That's just how you are, and that's something that you can definitely work on. And that's what it all comes back, like, full circle to self-love too.
Going back to the Bible, it's like they talk about good fruits. Your good fruits will always be your love, your presence, your faith, your, like, there's a lot of different fruits in the Bible that is talked about.
I want fruit now.
Say where, baby.
Like, that's all that.
We got carne asada.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, girl, we going.
Everybody good after this.
Damn, everybody eat. Everybody eat good.
I'm like, shoot.
You just,
I was about to say that's what I came for, but I didn't even know it. Usually I just show up to a party, I eat, and then I leave. So.
That's how it is. But the 7 fruits too, but also too on the topic of hatred is like how they says in the Bible is having hate in your heart is very poisonous to your heart.
Yeah. It's wordly death.
Yeah.
Because words can speak death, but your actions speak louder than
your words.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Words can definitely still hurt though.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
You just gotta be the bigger person. Be like, all right, it hurt, but I'm not gonna reciprocate that like emotion to you. You know.
Yeah.
Again, it's better to be the one hurting than hurting others.
Other than, you know, the babies now, we were the youngest generation growing up. So I feel like we definitely saw all the different situations in all our families. And even then, like, in school, too. So that's when somebody tries to, like, tell me, like, just because we're young, like, we haven't really lived, I don't really consider that, because a lot of people, even my dad has been through a lot ever since he was a child. So you can never tell about how much life somebody has lived based on their age, because you never know.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the situations that you go through is what really makes you, I guess you would say, the mature.
Yeah.
Or just overall
going through things younger makes you more mature. And a lot of the times, And I feel like I'm very proud of especially this group here because we've all been through something, but we don't let that hold us back. You know, we persevere and we keep going, and we, if anything, we acknowledge other people, and we're like, you know what, I see you. Like, even though, like, they could be doing something wrong, it's like, I see you and I see that you're hurting, or I see you and I see that you're doing good, because we should always be pushing everybody to do their best and be their best. And if I'm criticizing you or telling you, like, hey, you know, I don't agree with what you're doing, you should never take that in a wrong way, because at the end of the day, I just want you to be better. If I didn't care, I wouldn't say anything. I would let you do you. And if anything, I would, let's say, like, I would start talking shit about you. But again, it just goes around in a circle, so there's no point. I would rather you go up mentally and be okay than, you know, the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like especially we've gotten brushed off a lot more. I don't know about you, Jenny, since you're mainly like the second youngest, I'm assuming.
I'm the third.
I'm the third. Oh yeah, I forgot. My bad, Christian. But like I know, like coming from me and Ali, we're like the youngest out of our siblings in the family. So I feel like a lot growing up, no matter what age we hit, we were always brushed off. Like, you're the youngest. Like, you need to learn how to respect this, that. Like, you don't know what you're talking about because you're young.
Yeah, but
even I see that I see that at work now too. Like, because I'm the youngest at my job. Like, oh, like, you're young, you still don't know experience. Like, dude, like, I've had like 3 years of experience under my belt. Just because I'm young doesn't mean I haven't experienced.
Started young.
Yeah. So it's like, it all just comes full circle too. Like, I hated that too. Like, I guess my brother is just realizing too, my brother who's locked up right now. Like, me and him talk a lot, and he's over there trying to improve himself. And I be telling him, like, brother, like, I know how you feel. Like, you he even says it too, like, you're my little sister. But just because I'm your little sister doesn't mean I can't understand the way you're feeling. I feel like now, especially because I'm having my first kid, now they're finally seeing me as an adult. As sad as that is,
bro. Yeah.
As sad as that is, like, damn, like, I had to have a kid for y'all to take me serious.
Yeah.
But regardless, like, even like by my sister-in-law, she even told me too, and we've had like our issues, because, you know, family butts heads always. Yeah. But the thing is, as long as you can resolve it. So me and her were talking it out, and even she admitted, she was like, so you're mature for your age. I was like, dude, I was like, what have my brothers been telling you?
Yeah.
She's like, I've been mature.
Like, and I feel like we're all very, like, we're very mature. We're very mature when it comes to even taking disrespect or just talking to somebody. I feel like we know how to handle it now. And especially because, again, we've been through it all. We've had to deal with a lot of hate with other people, even in our own family. Yeah. So we just have to show, like, it should not affect you. And that's what's also hard for a lot of people now, a lot of girls nowadays. Like, it's hard for you to just let it go.
Or just being heard.
Let it go.
Just being heard.
Again, go freaking look at the let go theory.
I was theory. Go check it out, guys.
I wasn't here earlier. Were y'all talking about that earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I was sleeping.
Oh, wait.
I was like, I don't know what it is. Ashley said.
Let go? Really?
It's just... No, yeah, but
yeah, like, when things happen especially girls, you know, if something traumatic happens to them, like, in their childhood, a lot of the times, and that's why I was saying I'm really proud that we've been able to persevere, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people stay stuck in that same mentality that they were in when that thing happened to them, that traumatic thing happened to them, and then they carry that on for the rest of their lives. Like, yes, they're 30, they're 40, but they're mentally still like 13, 14, because they stayed stuck with what happened to them, and it stayed with them. And instead of moving on and dealing with it, they let it control their lives, they let it control their emotions, and now they're mad at the world, they're mad at everybody because of what happened to them. But nobody is to blame. Things happen, and, you know, sometimes there are people to blame, especially when you've been hurt. But again, that doesn't do anything. You have to learn to move on and to give yourself that closure, because that's the only way you'll ever be at peace, is that if you just let it be.
That's facts too. And
you can't control what other people do, but you can control the way you handle it. Like, that goes back to, like, trauma. Like, there's people out there who let their trauma affect them the rest of their lives, instead of just, I wouldn't say moving on, but using that and making them stronger, like, to make yourself stronger, instead of just, like, using that as an excuse to, like, do drugs, drink, and to just be a shitty person overall.
Yeah, to just be a shitty person overall.
And it doesn't define who you are. Yes, it can leave a big impact, but at the end of the
But
day,
it should be a good impact. It should, it should make you stronger. It should not make you the person that hurts other people. It should make you defend the people that are being hurt.
Yep. Literally, and it all comes back to if you don't heal, who's to blame, really?
Yeah.
You know? So
because shit happens to everybody. But if you don't learn from that, if you don't heal from that, then there's nobody to really blame. You shouldn't expect somebody to come save you, is what I'm trying to say, because a lot of people, they expect that a man is going to save them. They expect that a friend is going to save them, that their parents are going to save them. But let me tell you, nobody's going to save you other than yourself. You are the only person that makes yourself get up in the morning, that gets ready, goes to work, goes to school. Only you are going to make yourself do that. Nobody's going to hold your hand through your entire life. Yeah.
Facts. With what Sayde was saying, how your family doesn't view you as like older now because you have a child. It's like, bro, I get that, because I honestly, I feel like I never got the respect until I actually started paying for my bills. Where actually I started showing, like, when you start showing them that you can do shit by yourself too, it kind of triggers them. It triggers them, and it's like, you know what I mean?
It's that's
like,
the thing with narcissists too, is
bro,
they want you to feel like
you need
still
them.
need to, they need to feel needed. They need to feel like somebody still depends on them, so they can have like that motivation in their life, that void,
that
in
control,
their life. Like,
who you controlling?
not me.
So I feel like, because at the age of like 16, 15, I've always, like, from the minute I was able to work, like, I've been paying bills since, and just kind of pretty much taking care of myself, because there's a lot of things that I had to go through. I feel that's the reason why I'm so mature too, is that I had to figure out a lot of things on my own too. I'm not trying to say like I was homeless and this, that, but there was definitely things that I shouldn't have to worry about when I was at that age. You know, most kids around that age, around 15, 16, start a job, to start saving, to go just blow their money, just to do whatever. For me, I had to start working ASAP to just like just to be able to feed myself, just to clothe myself. And like when I got my car too, I didn't get a car just because, oh, like, here you go, like, go, like, you know, because you deserve it. No, it's because my parents did not want to take me to work. Like, I didn't even have a license or a permit, and they were just like, just for school and for work, because they pretty much didn't want to do it. So at the end of the day, it's like I kind of had to raise myself, and even with that, I was still told, like, you're still a little sister, you're still a young daughter, you need to respect this, that. You don't know anything because you don't have your experiences. But at the end of the day, it's like I also knew what was going on. Yeah. And it's crazy after all this time, and it wasn't until, like, you know, like I was just saying, until now that I'm having a kid, that I'm earning that respect, as sad as it is, where I feel like I'm finally having my place within my family. And I feel like that's just something that a lot of young people go through too, like if you're the youngest in your family. And it's honestly just a sad thing, because regardless, I feel like no matter what age you get to, you're always going to be seen as the youngest.
Yeah. I grew up as, like, I was raised as an only child by my parents, you know? Let me start that again. I was raised as an only child by my parents because my brothers were never home. So they, to this day, still view me as, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're too little to understand. But it's like, thanks to you guys and what I have seen, whether it be good or bad, I was able to move forward from that because I had to learn and do it on myself. I had to learn and go on about a certain situation that they might have done, that they could, like, it was just all based on me growing up by myself because I'm the youngest, and again, the youngest always gets brushed off, you know?
Yeah. Everything we say is pretty much invalidated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys... Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Would you guys say that you guys feel forgotten in a sense?
No, not
necessarily forgotten, but just definitely, I feel like invalidated. Like, no matter what we have to say, like our feelings, the way we feel, or what we bring up on a certain topic, or in a conversation.
It just doesn't really matter.
It feels like, how do I say? We know that you hear us, but it seems like you don't process it, pretty much. Like, even if I'm just, like, sitting down having a conversation with mom, especially when I was younger, like, I know that she's listening, but she's not taking it to heart. So it's, like, just pretty much like Ali was saying, just getting brushed off completely. And I feel like that's just such a sad thing, because I feel like if they really did listen to us, like, a lot of things could be prevented, too. Like, if you just take our advice, because who knows, like, we might see this from wherever we might be, like, with friends, our friends' family. Like, it could be advice that could prevent something. And it's like, you'd be surprised how many times I've told my mom, too, growing up, like, I told you. Like, that was going to happen. I've seen it happen over here with this job, this, that. And it's just like, once again, it's just brushed off.
I feel like I've gotten to a point in my life with my parents that I don't have my brothers over here, you know? So if I have something to say, they will listen to it, especially my dad. My dad will listen to me more than my mom will, but that's because me and my mom, like, bump heads a lot. But we are to a point where they brush a lot of my emotions off, yes, but I can also have a set conversation with them to the point where I can explain boundaries, where I can be like, okay, what you did wasn't so fruitful to me. Like, you hurt me in a way, and then they'll look at it and be like, okay, they won't really pay mind to it, but I know that they listen because later on they will change. So either way, it's getting brushed off in that moment, but right now I'm in that point with my parents that they will listen to me. They just won't take me seriously in that point, and it still sucks because I'm just like, do you not hear me or what? But eventually they do come around, and they do change in some ways.
They, like, think about it silently.
Yeah.
They're like, they do that little, you know, like let's zoom in real quick, like. Like, you're right. You're right. But they will never
think about it.
They will never admit that. They will never admit that you're right, and they will never admit that they're sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like with
they cannot say sorry to save their lives. Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
with our parents' generation, they are just so prideful that they can't literally say the word sorry with their own, but they say it in their own ways though. Like, for example,
¿Quieres comer?
Yeah. Like, sometimes.
¿Quieres ir al mall?
¿Quieres hacer las uñas?
Right. ¿Y tus cejas? No.
And again, it's like, it's about what they've also been shown, and that's when it comes back to what Ali said, like, you have to parent the parent. But I feel like in a different way, you know, like, your child teaches you just as you teach your child, because no parent is perfect. Everybody has their flaws, and let me tell you, when you have a child, that child will address your flaws. That child will let you know.
They will
And
your shit.
again, it's like, you have to know what to take as criticism. Like, I'm sorry that what I said make you feel some type of way, and it made you feel some type of way, but it's the truth. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say, but it's because kids also have a certain way of saying it where it's like, it is kind of disrespectful.
Yeah.
Not constructive criticism, but it's more like an insult. But again, you have to really take it like, my child is feeling this way. Why is my child feeling this way?
We're gentle parenting our parents.
Gentle parenting our parents, yeah, because, and it's sad because we also have to think about it, they never had that.
Yeah.
They never had what we want as well.
Our parents basically came from the motherland, so
Yeah.
they had it a little harder over there.
Basically, they did. Oh my gosh. They
Not
all grew
basically,
up.
they did.
Yeah.
They
That's why I
did.
had like sympathy for my mom, and like, not an excuse for all the shitty things she's done, but at the end of the day, it's still her first time being a mom with like all of us. Each kid is
everybody's
different.
first time living.
Stop,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
Each kid
No,
is
that's
different, and that's why I low-key feel sympathy for my mom, because at the end of the day, like, she's definitely not the worst. There's definitely, of course, there's things she can do better, but I do take that pity on her, because I'm just like, you were raised different.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day too, like, each of our parents have kind of improved the cycle a little bit, because they've had it rough too.
Yep.
Like, my mom would tell me, like, or for example, mi tío, like Mia's dad, I take like so much. He was like my main example, like, of breaking the cycle. I feel like if it wasn't for him too, because he gave me that when I was living with Mia for a while, because I got kicked out quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people in our family have lived with me and my family, and you know, our family has flaws too. But again, my dad sometimes won't admit when he's wrong or when he has flaws right then at the time. But like Ali said, like, they address it later on and they fix it later on. And I feel like he is growing every day despite what he's been through.
Yeah, I feel like mi tío is like a very good example, and I take that lesson to heart like every day too. Like, him breaking the cycle, like, for you and like and your sisters, because he came from like in a very, very abusive household, and instead of taking that on and getting into drugs and all of that, he did it to the point where it's just more like, I'm gonna be different with my daughters. Like, of course, we all have our flaws. None of us are perfect, but there's definitely an improvement from them parenting from when their parents are parenting them.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and I feel like with us, it's just slowly getting better. Because, of course, when y'all have your kids, I don't know how I'm going to be with this one. Hopefully better. But
we'll correct you.
Yeah. We'll let you know. We're here to help.
Because, like, before you came, I was just telling Ali and Jennifer, too. It was like, my biggest fear is, like, continuing that cycle, too. And being like that, which I really don't.
I don't think I would. I don't think you would ever do that, but I don't think I would ever let you do that either.
We wouldn't, not at all. You have a whole
for me, I know one
you.
thing, the way I want to go into parenting is more just like, I learn from you and you learn from me. Not that I'm going to be buddies with my kid, because at the end of the day, they still need a parent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely want my kid to feel heard, especially now that I'm having a son. And after everything we just talked about, I want to raise my son to not be like every other machista, like every other sexist man here. Like, no, like, you got to learn how to do your own cooking. You have to learn how to take care of yourself.
Take that masculinity
and how to
out of
respect,
here. That toxic masculinity.
Because I've learned too, like, I've learned this from my partner too. Being a man is even standing up for yourself when everybody else is against you too. When every other man is against you. And it's just speaking up for yourself. And that's one thing I really want to do, especially with my son, about to have female cousins, aunts. I want to teach him how to respect more than anything. Because that's a lot of things that I hear. Like, even, like, kids nowadays in middle school, the way they talk about females is insane.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, you're so young. And, like, y'all are vaping and doing all this. Like, even at our age, we were, like, barely even exposed to that. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about, like, 12-year-olds.
And a lot of parents think that, oh, you know, my kid is only 13. He or she's not thinking about sex.
True.
Let me tell you something, girl.
And then we got 13-year-olds ending with pregnancy too.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy.
Exactly. So it's like kids learn and see everything. Trust me, when they are babies, they know what you are doing. They copy your movements. They copy what you're saying. So if you don't think that they're
one
watching,
thing I'm very aware of is that I'm gonna be very cautious with my kid is. People like, oh, they're children. They don't know what's going on. When I was a kid, I knew exactly what was going on. Yep. I was like maybe 5, 6, 7, hearing all this stuff going down with my brother. Because my brothers were teenagers. And you know how, like, boys and teenagers can get crazy. And hearing my parents, too, like oh, like, la niña, like, the girl, like, the little girl, she doesn't know what's going on, this, that. I didn't know, but I just stayed quiet. Because I don't want to know.
Or even if you didn't know everything, it's like what you see, it's like it makes
kids
you
are
worry.
Aware.
Yeah.
Kids are very much aware. And that's what, like, I had to be cautious with, too, with raising my son, too. It's like, he's going to be aware of things, whether I think he is or not.
But it's just about changing how they see it.
Yeah. Definitely changing how their perspective on it, too. Mm-hmm. Like, especially because you see a lot of people these days just staying together with toxic partners and using the excuse, it's for my kid. But at the end of the day, you're setting that example. You're making them think that it's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then something I don't want my son ever thinking either. Like, I don't want him thinking that any of these situations are healthy or okay, like, with the things people be going through. If anything, I want to teach him there's a certain way to handle things. Because, shoot, like, that's my biggest fear is, like, dang, raising somebody and then just them committing, like, the ultimate, like, crimes or something. Like,
or them ending up what you didn't want them to end up
as. That's, like, I'm terrified.
And that's why I feel like you, as a parent, you can always just guide them, but you also have to build their own their own confidence, because a child needs to be secure in order not to let other people influence them.
A child needs to be taught, not sheltered.
Yes. Because when you shelter them and then you put them out into the world, they don't know what they're doing. They've never experienced this before, so most of the time they fall into that peer pressure, and then their whole life just completely changes because they let everybody get to them. And it's kind of
at the end of the day, like, kids still need to have their innocence. So I'm not saying, like, put them into every situation so they learn hard. No. Kids need to still have childhood, their innocence. Eventually, of course, we all grow out of that, but it's also just, like, you try to make that last as long. There's a difference between trying to keep their innocence and then keeping them sheltered. Yeah. Because you got to teach them, too, as they grow. I feel like that's the way I see it, at least.
You gotta teach them, but also you have to be that person that they can come back to, because the world is a cruel place in regards of anything, you know, like,
because kids are still gonna do what they're gonna do. They're still gonna have sex. They're still gonna be curious about drugs. They're still gonna be, and especially because we can't control other kids when they go to school. There's going to be other kids who talk about this stuff. The least thing we can do is educate them instead of getting angry at them, too. Because at least I want my son...
Peer pressure.
Yeah, I want my son to be able to talk to me, not be scared about me getting angry. I mean, if you do some shit that's gonna make me angry, of course I'm gonna be angry, but I'm still gonna do.
Yeah, and again, just because you're angry doesn't mean that you don't love them either, and that's what they also have to learn.
Like I'm here to help.
And that's another thing. They expect kids. That's one thing. They don't think that kids know anything, but they expect them to know, like, oh yeah, my parents still loves me even though they're mad at me. A lot of kids don't think that. They think because you're mad at them, you don't love them. So you have to really,
and that they're on their own.
Yeah, and you have to teach them that. You have to be like I love you. Like, am I mad at you? Yes. But no matter what you do or what you say, I will always love you. And that alone gives an example for them to carry on the rest of their life, because when you're a child, those years are the years that shape you for the rest of your life. Why do you think everybody that has issues now, and then they talk about it, and then they end up talking about their childhood?
Because growing up, too, I feel like we were taught a lot that love is conditional. Like, you hear our parents, like, if you get a tattoo, if you go do this, you go do that, like, I'm kicking you out. Or they say something to threaten you in a way. If you get a tattoo or piercings, like, that they're going to disown you. That's pretty much kind of teaching us that their love is conditional. So, you know, that kind of instilled a fear in us. So that made us, like, anxious to come to them about anything.
Mind you, none of us here are parents just yet.
Yeah.
And we are very wise on topics like that because we have learned from our own, from what we've seen, and from
with
what
others
we've been through. Yeah. Not just in our own families. Like, everything that you learn is taught. You don't come out of the womb knowing everything that you do now, you know?
So that brings us to our next topic, you know, because I know we have nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start off on that one, actually, where it's like, you know, personally, and maybe you guys can relate as well, but I grew up in an environment that it wasn't safe physically or emotionally, you know? So it's like, for me to have my nieces, bro, like, I want to protect them. I want them to come to me and know that they have that safe place with me and tell me anything that's heavy on their chest. Anything that they feel, bro, let me know. I want to help you. I want to figure it out. And it's like how you said, it's like, I'm going to get mad at you if you do something wrong, but I'd rather you come to me so I can help you. You know, even though I'm not a parent.
Instead of bashing you.
Because we're human. We're going to make mistakes at the end of the day. It's how we learn.
Creating that safe space is very important, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, whether you're their parent or not.
Yeah, especially with me, like, having my first kid. Like, even if you can't come to me, like, I would at least want you to go to somebody that you trust. Like, whether it's like a tia, you know, like an adult, at least, like a tia. Because being for real, like, this kid is about to have a lot of family members.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just like,
We have a huge
even
family.
if you can't confide in me, confide in like one of our family members, you know.
Confide in your cousins when you grow up enough, because this is how we learned.
Yeah.
Really.
Like, I'm so thankful for all of y'all.
I mean, shout out to your sister, really, because she was the one
real.
that
Shout out
she's
to me
another
for
example
sure.
that whether you can be a product of your environment or you can go and advocate for yourself and be happy and live your own life. And even then,
facts.
when she was here, she just still decided, like, you know what, I can either just stay where I'm at, like, feel what I feel every day, or I can go and take my little cousins out every single weekend. Every single
Shout out
weekend.
to Noonie right
She
now.
would literally
Taki Squad.
Taki Squad.
But just to explain to the audience, my oldest sister, who's like 37 right now, she lives in Florida. She got away from where we're at right now. When we were younger, she used to take us younger kids to these things called activities, where pretty much she would come pick all of us up, because we were like, what, like 10, 12, starting this?
Yeah,
was
like
young.
10. We were like 10.
We were young.
Yeah.
She would come get all of us and make activities for us. So we'd either go like rock climbing, golfing,
The
swimming.
pool, yeah.
Yeah, we do all
Anywhere,
kinds of
anything,
things.
yeah.
It would be what,
And
every
also-
Saturday, right?
yeah.
Every Saturday.
It would be like every
And even if she
Saturday.
didn't take us, she would never hesitate to let us know, like, hey guys, like, activities is
We had a whole
canceled.
group chat.
We had a whole group chat, yes.
And just growing up too, I feel like that's something that definitely bonded us together more.
Fun.
The main reason my sister did it too, I remember talking to her about it, was because she wanted us to feel included. She wanted us to have a bond. She wanted us to grow up together. And she wanted to keep our innocence, so especially with the society that we were growing up in and the families that we had and the stuff that was going on within our family. She still wanted us to maintain that innocence and just kind of take a break too.
Yeah, and also maintain our bond, because I feel like,
Yeah.
especially with her generation, you know, our cousins her age, they've all kind of gone and done their own thing. They don't really talk to each other that much, and I feel like that's what she didn't want to happen to us. She wanted us to all have our bond and our connection, and I feel like for the most part, at least the four of us, we've still continued to have that bond, and maybe not talk every single day or hang out every single day, but every time we talk or every time we hang out, it's like we never left. It's like we never left.
Literally.
And I feel like that has a big part of what Noonie showed us and what she was able to do for us.
Shout out to my sister. We should have her on this podcast.
Because again, she lived her life.
Because again, she didn't have to do that. But she would pay for our food, or if we didn't have enough money for our tickets, she'd be like, I got you, just pay me next time.
Yeah.
And again, that it shows what type of person you really are. Especially when you don't have to do something for others and you still go out of your way to do it. It shows what kind of person you are, because a lot of people don't. They do the bare minimum. They're like, well, I don't have to do that. What do I get out of it? Are you gonna do something for me? But it's like, that's not how it should be. You should not have to do something nice for somebody just because you're getting something in return. That's selfish. If anything, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. And God sees that. God sees that, and God humbles you no matter what. No matter it's now or later in life. God you will learn.
Like we were talking about earlier too. Everything, whatever you put out there, comes back to you eventually. If it's good, that'll come back to you. If it's bad, that's gonna come right back to you too. Karma's a real thing, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like God really is karma, because He sees like my cousin was just saying, He sees everything.
My nieces are pretty young, but I do have a nephew that I would really like. He knows that he can come to me for everything, and yes, I'll be buddy with him, but if he tells me something that I see wrong, I will guide him through the right path so he knows right from wrong, you know. And going to my nieces too, whenever they get older, if they need me now, if they need me ever, I want to be that person who they can turn to, just because I know that you can't always turn to your parents. You don't always have somebody else to turn to, you know. But it doesn't mean that I will be buddy with you every time. Yes, I will listen to you. Not even just with Gio, you know, because Gio, he's a good kid. I know he's a good kid. But also my nieces, they may be young, but those girls understand they're so much.
Smart. With Maya, the eldest, the first grandchild, first niece for everything. She's 7 now. Damn, that's
she's
crazy.
7?
Yeah, she's 7.
But that's when I thought she was 3.
She's about to be 8 this year, actually.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how fast time flies. But with her, it's just damn, she's almost 8 years old, about to be 8 in October. And it's just crazy how fast time flies, because I still see that little girl who would just go. And now that they're in Texas, they came to visit us for spring break for a little while, and I was still talking to them as if they were toddlers. And I had to catch myself.
Yeah, and they're kind of looking at you like,
are you talking to me like
that? She would ask me. She's very smart too. She's like, why do you talk to me like? I guess I see, because they're Spanglish. Why do you talk to me like that? And I was like, I'm sorry. I told her, because I still see the little kid. I was like, when you were younger, I'd be used to be ete, chi, everything that she's like, I used to say, I was like, yeah. I was like, of course you don't remember. I had to show her videos too of her saying stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, it's just crazy, how much time flies with these kids. Especially because dude, you were the first grandkid, first everything. Even my first experience with changing diapers. So I'm just
yeah. I mean, I remember when she was a baby, and
dude, everybody was so excited. Everybody was so excited because it was my brother's first kid too, and everybody loved Tony. So it's
everybody loves babies.
Everybody loves babies.
That too. So it was just it was the first baby that was being born in a while, because after her, kid after kid came. But with her, it was just
bro, it's true. They just be popping them out.
After my kids started up the whole new generation, because then we had Maya, Sebastian, and then just a bunch of other kids kept coming.
So would your kid fall into that generation?
No. I think
they said starting this year, I forget what it's.
It's because you gotta think about it. I think it's every 5 years.
I forget. It is a new generation.
It's every 5 years, because me and my sisters are all 5 years apart. I'm 20. Ashley's 25, and then Sammy's about to be 30. So
but
it's
me and Gio are still the same generation, and we're 5 years apart. He's still Gen Z.
I don't know.
I don't know. I classify it as old souls.
The new generation, the new generation born starting in 2025 is called Generation Beta.
Of course.
Wait, what the hell?
Yeah, of course it is. The ones that are nieces,
all day. Right.
the ones that our nieces are born into is Gen Alpha. So that's like Michaela and like an Anna too. Yeah. That includes them.
Okay, yeah, that includes you then.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody to talk to, I'd rather
Really
just
just
be
anybody.
Yeah, but like especially the younger generation, especially yeah, you know what? Especially my nieces. Heck, like I want you to be able to come to me and me be your safe place because I know that the world is cruel. The world is gonna happen, and your mom may not see it the way somebody else might. So I'd rather just you have that confidence in yourself and with me to come to me and tell me what's so heavy on your mind, because I'm not there to judge. I'm not there to really be the bad person, I guess you could say. It's more just to guide you in the right way, but it's also for you to know that I am hearing you out, that I am listening, that it's not going in through one ear and out the other. Mm-hmm. Like, you just have to be that support system for the younger generation.
Let them know that you hear them and you see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we've been
they are
there.
heard. They are seen.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, our experiences hopefully help.
Don't do that no more.
Yeah. No, for real.
I just like how each generation is slowly getting better in a way. Even though we do have our flaws, we also have to realize too, our generations are becoming more understanding as we get older.
And there's always going to be certain people, you know, you can't lump a whole generation together and have
like each generation
have
has
it
their
be
flaws,
bad or
but we have our
good.
positives too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now more we're addressing mental health more, we're addressing, you know, women being hurt more. Like everything that has been swept under the rug for a long time is now being brought to light by the younger generation. And I feel like that's what we should be focused on, because again, there's people like us that are talking about this on a podcast right now, and then there's other people right now that are going drinking, that are going partying. And it's like, that's not to say
right
that
age of 18.
That is not, you know,
the age of 18.
Yeah, 18 and younger. Like, there's younger kids that make it into the club, and it's like, okay, well, who's running the club that is letting a 14, 15, 16-year-old in?
That's what makes my heart too, is like, now that like I'm pregnant, I'm expecting, like, you hear a lot too, like I've heard like stories from like my sisters-in-laws where like they've had friends or family who just up and leave their kids to still go clubbing, because as young parents too, it's like they still leave their kids to go clubbing, drinking and stuff. And as sad as it is, it's like, damn.
And that's when it comes to, just because you want a kid doesn't mean you should have a kid. You should you should have to want to be a mother, because once you become a mother.
Can we talk about that too, about how a lot of people nowadays are having kids to try to save their relationships or try to get stuck with the person, and not even just because they're ready for a kid.
But then that's why they don't end up taking care of their kid, because that's when it comes back to, you just want a kid just to want a kid, but you don't want to be a mother, because that, back to what I was going to say, when you become a mother, your life becomes about your child for the next 18 years. Yes,
18 plus.
Yes, you have, you know, your
it's
days.
Not just an accessory or something you can temporarily have. Having a baby is not having a pet, or just like an accessory that you can take around with you and dress up.
Definitely,
you're raising an actual human being, an actual person, somebody who's going to become part of a society, have their own interests at some point. And it's just so sad that you also see a lot in this generation too, people who had kids young. Like, they don't really take care of their kids, or the baby's father isn't really involved,
because they just focus on themselves. They just don't do it for their kids. They don't do it for their kids. They have a kid just so it can benefit them, and then when they realize that it's not a benefit, it's work, that's when they take a step back and they're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, Mom, you take care of my kid. It's not something
you can step out of. It's for life.
Like, once you're in, you're in. That's your life.
And that's not to say that you're never going to have, like, you know, your days where you have that self-care. But again, that is your child. That is somebody, that is a human being. That is going to be
somebody that will always come before you.
And somebody that's depending on you. And then you can't blame your child for going into a certain path because you weren't paying attention.
And then I wanted to add, I feel like too, when it comes to like sex education in school, they don't actually show you what could happen when you actually have intimate relationships with somebody.
When you're in certain situations,
you know?
they just kind of show you like it is what it is. You have to be shown different situations because again, once you are sheltered from that, you don't know what to do in that situation. And that's why a lot of times people either freeze or they run away.
Yep.
Well, it's very rare when a person actually defends themselves because it's that adrenaline, it's that shock, and it's like, well, you don't know what to do, you're not prepared for this, so you just do what you think, like right then and there.
Teaching these boys to take accountability. Because nowadays, it's just so normalized in society for them to just leave.
Not just boys, but everybody. Take accountability for what the heck you've done.
Yeah. It doesn't take just one person, because I hate that it's mainly just left on the woman afterwards. But it takes two to make a kid, to make a baby. Facts. So it's just like, you need to be taking accountability on both sides.
Yeah.
No, facts.
Because I just feel like that's something, like, I want to say, too, like, even though, like, I'm young, at least, like, I'm graduated, I'm in a better spot, I have my own car, like, I have a job. At least I have stability.
But that doesn't go to say that even if you do get pregnant at a young age, you can still strive to go and graduate.
It's about what you do after that.
I don't recommend teen pregnancy in any way. Of course, I always feel like you should definitely wait because, of course, it's going to be harder. Stuff is still possible for sure, but it's definitely going to be a lot harder. So I'm just, like, all I can really say is, like, my best advice is just to wait.
But
take care of yourself first.
You know,
but of course, situations happen. People can actually be in relationships and actually take care of themselves, and stuff will still happen.
Yeah.
But even then, like, your life is not over. I hate that. Like, when I first found out I was pregnant, I was terrified because I knew immediately, you know, like, my life's not gonna be my own anymore. Everything's gonna change. Not that it's gonna be worse, but
everything's gonna be different.
Yeah, I'm gonna have somebody depending on me.
Yeah.
So in a way, like, I was dreading it. I was terrified because, like, with everything that's going on with this generation and the economy, I was like, shit. So I was panicked, but then I realized, you know, like, I do have a support system, and sadly not everybody has that. Throughout the beginning of it, I was put down a lot. Like, dang, like, maybe, like, I can't do this. Like, my life really is going to be over because I was just being told negative things. Like, oh, you can't do anything anymore. You can't come out anymore. Like, and it just made me feel alone a lot because that was my biggest fear, was being treated different because I was having my first kid. And not in a positive way, but more like in a negative way. Like, your life is not the same anymore. And it made me feel worse. Instead of me being able to enjoy it, it just made me feel so much worse. But now, like, being surrounded, having my partner, then having you guys too, it made me feel more secure. Like, I could still pursue everything that I want to pursue. Of course, it's going to be harder, but I'm still able to do it.
It's just about putting the work into it.
Yeah. Pretty much putting the work. So I'm just like...
Don't forget, too, bro. You got us to help out.
Yeah.
You got us to
whole
help
village.
out.
I say it again and I say it always.
There's a whole village.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's people out there who sadly don't have that, but it is still possible. And sometimes... And sometimes it does take the hard work now for you to relax later.
Yeah.
People do what they can with what they have.
Nothing is impossible.
And that's what to show, like, even if we're talking about our parents right now, they're not perfect, but they all did what they could with what they had and what they were shown. Yeah. So we can always, you know, yes, take accountability for your actions, but you can never blame somebody. I feel like you should never put the blame on anybody because we're all human and we're all going to make mistakes and we're all going to do things and say things that people don't like. But it's about addressing it and it's about learning from it. Because, of course, if you're going to keep if you know that you're making the same mistakes over and over again, it's not a mistake anymore. Like, you know what you're doing is wrong. Now you're just choosing to do that. Yeah. Because it's the easier option. It's the option that makes you feel good. But it's like sometimes it's harder to do the things that you don't want to do. Yeah. But what happens in the end, you end up being more on top because you worked hard. You went through that hard path rather than the easy path. And now you can get more. You get more.
How they say is regret hurts more than discipline.
Yeah.
It's on though.
Yeah. It's because, bro, we be yapping, but you know what? That's why we gotta make more podcasts. So, you know, if you want to see us back on here, let us know in the comments.
No, for real. And then the Mexican radio says, right? From the fair. I find very beautiful about our generation is that we're very understanding. Yes. Regardless, our parents, the people that unfortunately hate on us and stuff like that, we're very understanding with a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
even
I love
with
that.
people. Yeah, even with people that hate us, we're still kind of like, you know
at
what?
least they say our haters be our biggest fans too.
Yeah.
There's nobody that watches you harder than your haters.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for being on here.
Thank you for having us.
I already know how we're going and shit. Always a good time with you.
First
Good
time.
yap session.
Yeah, literally.
No, just kidding.
No, girl, hell yeah. Let me know if you guys want them back on this pod, bro. I absolutely love it.
The comments gonna be like, nah, get them off. No matter how alone you feel, you always have somebody. You just have to find the right somebody who you can depend on.
Facts.
And even when you feel at your most lowest, always know that you are able to depend on yourself, and you should only depend on yourself, you know. But it is nice having a nice little village with you, because it just makes it 10 times easier.
Wait, if you can, wait to have, I know it's like the same advice everybody's given. Wait to have kids when you can, when you're stable. Of course, stuff happens, but just know that you got it. If you do decide to have the baby, you got it. Us women, we are very, very strong. No matter how much society oppresses us or what they say about us, women are very, very strong, especially what we deal with on a daily basis, with or without kids.
Don't let anybody get to you. Don't let anybody get to you, because at the end of the day, you are going to sleep knowing that you should be secure in yourself and with what you're doing. And even if you're sometimes in the wrong, you need to address it and just always try to be a better person at the end of the day, because nobody can ever hate you for trying to do the right thing and being unproblematic and being loving and being caring. Nobody can ever hate you for that, and nobody can ever try to switch it around and being like, you have to be this way, because you don't. Being somebody kind, being somebody that is not hateful is not something that you should ever be ashamed of, ever.
I guess my message is more towards women, you know, because we're all women, beautiful women in this room. But it's definitely be the women that you want to be. Do not, like she was saying, do not let society make you think that you have to be a certain way. Definitely be who you want to be. Be the character, have your morals, your values, and just learn to be stronger every day. That's really what it is.
Be your own example.
Yeah,
don't try to look for one.
Literally, and how it always is. It's you versus you, really.
It's you versus you.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Always love, peace, and kindness. You already know, but peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love for life. So comment down below if you guys would like to see them back on here, because I would definitely love to have them back on here. Bruh, come on now. Next week, Monday, 6th.
Yeah.
Be there or be square.
Be there
or be square. Wow.
Don't alarm you.
Thank you guys so much for watching again. Peace, love, and kindness. And then their social medias will be linked down below if you guys want to take a follow. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next episode. Adios. Bye. Later, Gators.